Hey, today we're talking about how to escape the 9 to 5, even if you're broke. And I've done it, so I think I can tell you a little bit how to do it. But I'm also going to take you guys to get some coffee and grab a bite to eat here in China, where I live. And I'm dropping my stuff. And it's cold here today, too. It's only 6 degrees right now. And I'm about to ride on my bike, on my e-bike. So, yeah. It's gonna be cold. So there's our wheels right there. We're gonna drive across town and grab some coffee. These right here are the only 2 coffee shops in the city that open at 7. Everything else opens at 10. It's crazy. So anyway, we're gonna sit out here and grab some coffee. So apparently Starbucks says it's too cold to sit outside. So they have all the chairs chained up where nobody can sit there. But I found a little bench here, a nice little bench to hang out and relax for a bit. So I'll sit here and drink some coffee. So let's talk about the 9 to 5 trap first. How is it actually even a trap? Well, first of all, you start out probably some low level position, making a little bit of money, working 40 hours a week. That's what I did. And you might, get a promotion or get some overtime or something like that, and make a little bit more money. Once you get a promotion, you usually end up having to work more hours and you get a little bit more money, which a lot of it ends up going to taxes. And then on top of that, like the money that you're left with, you still end up spending it. You just buy more stuff and then the next thing you know, you're out of money again. And you're just living paycheck to paycheck, no matter what, no matter if you're at the bottom or you get a promotion to do this and that. Like, you're really still living paycheck to paycheck. I know guys who are making a ton of money and are still living paycheck to paycheck. So that's one of the big things, is the mindset is in the culture, especially in the West, is a lot of culture based on consumerism and buying things and keeping up with the Joneses and all of that. You gotta have this next pair of Jordans, you gotta have this car, that car, you gotta look a certain way. Or you're just selfish, you're just used to the culture. You're like, you see people who have these things, like, oh, that's nice, I want that. And then you go get it. And that's the culture and the mindset that keeps you trapped. Actually, most of us are just too busy, spending all your time working. Then when you get off work, you're like, oh, I need to relax. So you might hang out with some friends or your family. And then next thing you know, this time is just gone and years are gone and you still have nothing to show for it other than the same stuff, and just get in this thought or mindset or idea that this is my life and this is what it's going to be like. I'm just going to do this until I die. And that's not living, man. I experienced that, and that's when I pulled the plug and left myself. I was never a lazy person. I've always been the hardest working person in the room at every job I ever did. I've never been fired from a job or nothing like that. All the efforts I was putting in wasn't returning any rewards, man. And I was born in 1981, which makes me 44 years old now. And when I was young, man, they let us work early. I got my first job when I was 13 years old, washing dishes in some smoky restaurant. I say smoky, this is a smoke that filled the air everywhere. There's a bunch of old people drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and eating breakfast. And it was my first job, 13 years old. And then I was making like, I don't know, $3 an hour or some shit, $4, something like that. And then anyway, I started doing that, then started another job washing dishes. So when I was 13, 14 years old, I was a kid. And then, I graduated to doing factory jobs, hard manual labor, construction work, all this like physical jobs, and earning more and more and more money. But my life wasn't improving at all. The money was disappearing. And, my family telling me the only way to get ahead is to use debt, right? Which basically they were saying, have good credit and take out a mortgage for a house for 30 years or something, and then work for the next 30 years to pay for that mortgage. And here now my dad is like 70 something. He still has a mortgage on his house. My mom is almost that age, still paying a mortgage on her house. Like, I don't want the life. It's not the life I wanted for myself. And I left. And when I left with hardly no money, $1,000 in my pocket, and I moved to, I left several times and failed. That's another story for another video. But the last time that I did it successfully, I came to China. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. If I was trying to start all over again and escape the 9-to-5, what I would do is, man, I got distracted. If I was trying to escape the 9-to-5 from scratch again, what I would do is I would move. Well, first of all, this isn't going to work if you're in debt. You can't have debt. It's not going to work. So, first of all, get rid of your debt. But if you don't have any debt, first thing I would do is move to a place where it's very cheap to live, but you can still live a good life. You don't have to live in poverty. Like here where I live better than I live in America, and it cost me $1,200, $1,300 a month, and my life here is really, really good. And I have the same life here that I would have in America if I was spending $5,000 a month, but I can do that here for just over $1,000 a month. So I would move somewhere where it's cheap. You don't have to be China. You go to Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines. Even in America, just go to a small, cheap city and get some stupid job that gives you enough money to pay for your cost of living. And I would be working on something in the background, whether that be a business or learning some skill that can earn you a lot of money, or stock portfolio. Like what I did, the route that I took was I moved to a cheap place, which China, where I'm at now still. I've been here for I've been here for 16 years, but I've lived abroad for almost 20 years, if you count my time in Philippines. But I've been in China for 16 years now. I moved here to a cheap place where it didn't cost me hardly any money to live. I got a job that paid my bills and allowed me to have extra money to save. And then once I did that, I started building something. So the first thing I did, like for myself, I started with different businesses. So for myself, the first thing I opened was a school, like a training center, an English language learning center. I opened that with a friend of mine, and it was doing okay, and I sold out my share of the business to them later, walked away with profits. After that, I started like a kids learning business where I was selling basically digital products for children. That made a lot of money. I started building a fitness business because I love fitness. I still have that business today, actually, the fitness business. It's an online fitness business. I still do that business today. I opened a cocktail bar. And all this time while I was making all that money from these different businesses and stuff, I was investing, building a stock portfolio, in which now, you know, the income I earn from my stock portfolio, the income I earn from my fitness business allows me to do what I want to do and don't have to worry about having a job. If I don't have a job, it doesn't matter. I don't need a job. And on top of that, I have so much free time now to do things that I like to do, like make this video for you guys, right? And on top of that, this will even pay me money, but it's doing something I like to do. I don't have to do this if I don't want to. And if it didn't pay me any money, I would still do it because I actually enjoy making these videos now. So that's the whole thing, right? Is, first of all, before you do something that you enjoy and all that, you gotta get some skills and you gotta have the money to be able to break free. And that comes from, you know, a few years of sacrifice. Like I said, you might have to move away from your family. I've been away from my family for a long time. You know, you might have to move away from your family to go to that cheap place to set yourself up for success. And that's what I did. That's what worked for me. Speaking of living paycheck to paycheck, I'm gonna go spend some of my money on some food. Guys, this is what I ordered. We got some sour, spicy beef noodles. And then I got a pork cutlet and some nice grapefruit juice. So if you want to know more about my story, I actually wrote a whole book about it. You can find the link in the pinned comment below. And a lot of people enjoyed it. I also have a free community. Come join us over there. We mostly talk about investing, but we also talk about living abroad and some fitness related stuff too. Free community, come join us over there. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.